So I had the studio in Seattle, and then in 2000, I moved back down to Los Angeles. I was in Seattle at the time, so I moved back down to LA with Brad Smith, the bass player for Blind Melon.
Real quick, what
Yep.
prompted the move to Seattle?
The move to Seattle was prompted because so Blind Melon got signed in Los Angeles, and then we immediately left and went to Durham, California. So after we went to Durham, then from Durham, we went to Seattle to make our record at a studio called London Bridge. And then at that point, I didn't have a place. No one had a place to live. So after we were done making the record, it was like, oh, where do you want to live? And I was like, wow, I love Seattle. So I stayed for 7 years. But the reason why I left is the rain got to me at some point. But I had an amazing time in Seattle. It was the best time in Seattle. It was the 90s. All my friends were bands on the radio, and we're all hanging out, making music together. It was a beautiful time. But the rain got to me. So anyway, I moved back down to Los Angeles with Brad Smith from Blind Melon, and we opened up a commercial recording studio in North Hollywood called Studio Wishbone. And that studio went on for 10, 12, 15 years, something like a good long time was that studio. And then at some point, I sold that studio, or at least my half, to Brad. And then I built a studio in Silver Lake. Fireside Sound originally starts in Silver Lake. I have a house in Silver Lake in a back house, which is a studio. And then we bought this property out here in Joshua Tree. So we did so Fireside Sound Silver Lake, Fireside Sound Joshua Tree. We basically have two studios. This is the main studio for now because it's where I live, but we still have the studio in Silver Lake.
So why Fireside?
Good
Why
question.
Fireside Sound?
No, great question. There was literally a fireplace in Silver Lake in my control room. If you look like there's a bookshelf there in Silver Lake, you look back there and there's a fireplace in the control room. you know,
So
so
there was a fireplace and there was sound. So
Fireside Sound. It also is a takeoff on, I believe, like Roosevelt had when he spoke to people. It was called Fireside Chats. People would gather around the radio, and I believe it's Roosevelt. I could be wrong, but
I was actually thinking about naming this episode Fireside Chat because of
yeah,
the play
exactly
on the name
right.
of the
And so
studio. Yep.
it is a takeoff on that as well. And the fact that I had a fireplace in my studio, it just made sense.
Love that. That just like, you know what? We need to do this thing that really shouldn't be an inconvenience. So why let it be? So let's just like look at what's in front of us and just use that and
Sure.
move on to the things
Yeah,
that really matter.
totally.
I love that.